Hello Internet, so nice to see you. I get a lot of emails and comments that ask me how you can play complex thing on your guitar, and the answer is always the same. To play something complex, you first need to learn to play something simple and do it well, and when you can play something simple well, it's easy to make it more and more complex. But people typically don't like this kind of advice, so I can see already a lot of you are clicking out of this video because that's not the advice I want. I'm gonna use my background in science to show you that simple is good and it's exactly what you want. So what we're going to see today, it's an idea that on paper looks super simple. You can understand this idea in 1 minute, but when you apply it to your licks and to your leads, you're gonna see the results are pretty complex, and this can get complex pretty fast. It's still simple to play, but the sound effect is complex. What am I talking about? Well, let me show you. Okay. Tommaso, this is way too simple. Okay, we want the complex stuff. Okay, you guys may know I have a background in science. Okay, so let me give you a lesson from science with the help of some 80s piece of pop culture. Okay, we're gonna talk about toy models. Okay, what's a toy model? It's something we do in science. Okay, it's that when we have something that is too complex to understand, we try to find the simplest, stupidest theory or idea that explains more or less what we are doing. It's called a toy model. Okay, the problem that most people have is that and coming back to guitar, most of us try to do the most complex thing immediately. No, we don't want to do the simple thing. I was talking yesterday to a few people when I was doing the one-on-one lessons, okay, and then say that the problem in teaching, for instance, composition, or in teaching those things here, teaching theory, is that is to convince you guys, to do the simple things, okay? Because there's lots of goals in the simplest thing, but it's not evident immediately. At the beginning, it looks like that you're not doing anything because it's way too simple, okay? So I want you guys to think in terms of toy model, because by working on the super simple thing, you gain a lot, okay? So toy models, okay? We work on the simplest situation. We get something done. It doesn't matter how simple it is. And then once you get it done on a simple thing, it's easier later to do it on a complex thing, okay? Now, again, I'm trying to keep the ratio of images even between girls and boys. I really wanted to have a picture of E-Man playing guitar. There are no pictures of E-Man playing guitar on the internet, okay? Somehow E-Man is a drummer. I don't get that, okay? I mean, I feel neglected, okay? I'm a guitar player. I want a He-Man guitar player. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Toy models. Okay. The first, super simple idea. Coming back to guitar, a super simple idea that most of us have is to play a lick not from beginning to end, but from end to beginning. This idea is as old as music theory. It's probably one of the first ideas ever found in music theory. And not only to spell the name of somebody backwards, it's a cliche in literature. Okay. You guys have noticed how many vampire name Alucard there are in fiction, which is Dracula spelled backward, okay? I mean, it's kind of an obvious thing to do, okay? So we can do this with our licks. This works well sometimes. So when we have our stock blues lick, we can play it backward. And now I'm keeping the band as a single unit, so. But I could reverse the bend too. So it works well for some stuff. For other stuff, it doesn't really work much because our original lick, when I spell it backward, is just. So I'm positively underwhelmed by what this thing does here. Okay, it's a toy model. It doesn't do much here, and our arpeggio now just becomes. So this is a bit too simple. This is a bit too toy for us, okay? We want something that's a bit less toy. We need something a bit more nuanced, a bit more complex, a bit more morally complex, if you want. If we talk about in terms of toys, we need a character that is not so completely good and obvious, okay? We need something with a bit more moral complexity. Yes, I was a Master of the Universe fan when I was 8, so... Besides, guys, a picture of a Skeletor listening to metal. Come on. I had to put it somewhere. Okay, anyway. That's our procedure. It's called the note swap. It's exactly what it says in the tin. Okay, so you choose 2 notes of the lick, and you change their order. Only 2. In the following, I'm using only 2 notes close by, but you can use any 2 notes, okay? But you see that just taking 2 notes close by and changing their order gives you a lot of possibility. So let's see what happens to our licks, okay? So when I take my pentatonic scale, I can change any 2 notes. I have all those variations just by changing 2 notes. Okay, you have the arrows that shows you where the notes are changed, okay? Let's see what happens to our stock blues lick, okay? Original lick. Now again, I'm gonna think of the band as a single unit, okay? I don't want to split the band. I don't want to split this note from this note, okay? So I'm keeping it as a simple unit. So now I'm swapping the band with the first note. Wait. There we are. That's the first variation. Second variation. Third variation. I like this one a lot. Last variation. I like this one even more. In fact, I've heard this one in several solos. Okay, so this creates something useful. Again, it's still recognizable as the original lick, but it's perfectly possible to play the original version followed by, for instance, the last variation, like one after another. And it sounds good. Okay, by the way, since I'm here doing all that, right now, I don't care much about timing, phrasing, accents, emphasis. I'm playing fast and loose with all of those variables, okay? This is not a formal music theory lesson. I don't have to play all the licks with exact same emphasis so that you can see the difference. I'm not trying to be scientific in that sense. I'm trying to show you how they sound. But then when I play them, I just try to make them sound good, okay? So, which is what we want. We want to use those things in practice. So we don't really try to be academically correct and say, okay, we use the exact same timing for every variation. I'm making sense here. So if you see that what I'm playing doesn't respect exactly the timing in the tablature, that's a feature, okay? And I'm not trying to do it right now. What happens if you do this with our arpeggio? It's even more interesting for me, because arpeggios are those things that when you play them in order, sounds very predictable. But the moment you start changing a bit the order, sounds much better. I mean, this sounds, the second variation sounds nearly like a melody already. Okay, third variation. Let me do it again. Okay, this sounds like the ending of a song. Okay, last variation. Okay, so little variations on an arpeggio give some interesting things, essentially. You can take your own lick and apply the note swapping to it. Friendly, reassuring cat. I see you guys smiling. You cannot hide it. The kitten manipulation is working. Another simple thing that helps a lot us guitar players is to know your fretboard, and especially knowing your scales and be able to move all around the fretboard. Why, Tommaso? You are saying that this is simple? Yes, I am saying that learning scales and modes, it's actually simple if you learn them in the right way, if you learn the things in the right way. How can we do that? If you want to learn how to move all around the fretboard freely without even have to think, I do recommend my course, Master of the Modes. Master of the Modes, it's not a book, and it will never be a book. It's a complete video course made by guitar players for guitar players that take you from zero to become an expert in using modes and scales. This course is for people who are not afraid to do some exercises. Theory is important, applying theory is more important, so the course is taught through exercises that you have to do, and the more you practice them, the better you become. If you have just a minute, check out Master of the Modes at the link on the top right. If you like this video, smash on that like button, don't forget to subscribe and click on notification, otherwise YouTube will not let you know when I put up a new video. And if you have any idea, any feedback, any suggestions, please write them down in the comments. I love to read from you. This is Tommaso Zilio of musictheoryforguitar.com, and until next time, enjoy!